Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever you find yourself. Welcome to another episode of IoT Tuesday with yours truly, Samuel Adirani. We try to do this every Friday to share with you all the goodness on IoT. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about everything connectivity to your IoT project, the challenges, sometimes the drawbacks, the hassle, your frustrations, and then we'll talk about um, something I have found that works well for me that we started implementing in our solutions. We'll be talking about the Blues wireless IoT connectivity note cards. That's what today's episode is going to be all about. If this is your first time of being on the show, kindly subscribe to the channel. I'm usually Samuel Adrani. Your subscription goes a long way to help the channel grow. So as always, as we do it, we're going for the montage. When we come back, we're going to get started with everything Blues Notecard. Yes, demystifying everything IoT on the channel is what we do. Once again, if you're just joining us, this is IoT Tuesday with yours truly, Samuel Atrani. We do this every Tuesday, demystifying everything IoT, what it contains, what you can do with it, break it, make it. We let live on the show. So if you were following me last 2 weeks on the show, we're talking about everything Meshtastic. I was sharing with you all the awesomeness about the Mestastic tracker, which had this is a seed studio tracker, but is running the Mestastic framework. The fact that you can use this to communicate over kilometers without internet or without a network, all you need is having your team or people having the same Mestastic thing. And I hinted about us doing stuff concerning the Blues. So if you have been doing IoT for some time now, it gets to a point where connectivity is the next big thing you want to worry about. You're building solutions and you want to be able to collect data from the field or wherever it is and remotely send it to your cloud to do some inference. We are using some kind of cloud connectivity when it comes to our Crafter Climate Cloud Sense sensors. So we collect data from the sensors and send them over the internet to our cloud for processing for some of them, and then there's also the onboard AI on it. But for a very long time when we started, doing this R&D and work on the project, if you've been doing IoT for some time now, you would realize that connectivity is a big deal. Being able to get data, move data, whether it is between devices or to cloud or something, it is interesting and something that is always posing a challenge to people. Let me take you to the workbench and show you something. If you've been doing IoT for some time, you should be familiar with these components you're seeing on here. Most of them being, here you have it's a SIM module, and this is the SIM 760G, which is supposed to be that work on some form of LTE and is a little power efficient. And then you have the almighty SIM 800. This one is the most common. Hey Charles, welcome to the show. Welcome Charles, nice to see you. Hope you had an awesome day. So if you've been working with IoT connectivity, hey Brahima, good afternoon from America. Yeah. Oh, I will very well. I'll be checking on you. I'll check on you. Forgive me. So if you've been working on IoT for some time, you notice that this is the commonest one, SIM 800, which is the common SIM module that allows you to connect a SIM card behind it. So you put your SIM behind it, and then you pretty much connect it to your microcontroller board, and you can do cellular communication across. If you want to do GPS as well, you would have to rely on this particular, not this particular, but you would have to rely on GPS modules like this that have the ceramic antenna, others have external antennas. You would have to, you would have to rely on these. However, if you've been doing this for a very long time, you would notice that the power, right, the power draw on these sensors or these modules is quite high. So if you're running, let's say, a remote or field service or project, by the time the SIM 800 wakes up, right, and it's ready to send, your data via cellular to wherever you want to send it to, there's a lot of power draw. So when you're using this for certain projects that are not directly powered and you're relying on some kind of battery power thing, these don't tend to last longer because they draw, and you have to work with techniques such as you're either batching your data. So if you are looking for a system that is supposed to send data, let's say every minute, if you're using the SIM 800, it's going to kill you because the draw alone will run it down, unless of course it's connected directly to power. So techniques are like, sleep, wait for, when you're ready to send the data or ready to read the data, your microcontroller or your sensors read the data, the same wakes up and then it sends it to the cloud. But what happens is that if you're collecting, let's say, in situ kind of like data, and you want to have, let's say, up to the minute or a shorter interval of sending it, then it's not feasible at that point. It makes it difficult, right? Some of the workaround will be collect the data, every minute in a shorter frequency on your firmware, and then either have a way to queue the messages to go to the cloud or to go to wherever you need them to go to. These are some of the few challenges. The other challenges you would then, you come across when you're working with such platforms is that your cellular providers. Okay, so cellular providers, you have the challenge of connectivity. So we're using the context of Ghana, for example. MTN or Telecel or AT might not have a strong reception at a particular location. So which means that you might not get reliable cell connectivity. And if you just, these things can only take one SIM card, right? So you are restricted to having to swap SIM cards and all that. Then there is the other hard part of it, which is management, SIM management. You need to be able to manage your SIMs to know, hey, do I have enough data on it? How much is it consuming? Unfortunately, not all our our cellular providers have APIs or that integration for you to easily do this. And for some reason, I'm finding a hard time finding or getting machine to machine or data SIM specifically for IoT devices. So we're using the regular LTE or cellular SIM cards, and we're buying data on it. Aside that, there is also the challenge of, aside fleet management, the connectivity, depending on where you're coming from, these are like huge challenges. So workaround. So someone will say, well, then you go for services like on Mondo, I think it's Blue Logic, where these people are able to, work with global telecommunications and harmonize, and you can get one SIM card that is able to, pick the pick. Hey, I'm not sure. Nana, please. I don't want wahala. Please. It is long overdue. It is long overdue. I need you on the show. So Nanagate is on the show. If you've not heard about Abena AI, fantastic work is doing. You can use it offline, fully localized to our local language. I think there's Tree. I'm not sure it's gone, but yeah, but Akan language is done. Fancy and again. So Charlie, go check it out. But Nana, we need to be on the show, please. It's long overdue. So you can use things like on Mondo, and what that does, I think I have an Mondo SIM here or something. But anyway, so Blue Logic, where they've been able to work with telcos to give you that opportunity where if you put that SIM card again in the SIM 800, like I just showed you, what will happen is that it's able to give you some kind of reliable connectivity. And then, whether you are, wherever you are, it will pick the right, network and the strongest network, to give to you. Hey, Ellie, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So that is the workaround, right? Up until, a couple of, I've been following them for a while now, but I was like, well, could there be a way to do it? Yes, somebody will say eSIM. Yes, recent times, or I won't say not too recent, but there's been the use for eSIMs, in IoT platforms and systems. It is available. It's possible you can do that. However, there is also the cost factor. If I take you back to the bench, the workbench again, awesome. Now, the SIM 800, this one is the least expensive amongst all the SIM modules. So this probably not too expensive. Once you start to get to this point, or you're doing eSIM or the other ones, then the price starts to go up. All right, but then again, it's dependent on the solution you're building. Sometimes, if you're doing just a very small project, it's not supposed to be in the field for a long time, and you're going to get power directly. Yeah, by all means, go for SIM 800, right? So that's cellular. Other connectivity protocols or other connectivity ways when it comes to IoT is Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi, as we all know it, cannot go that long unless, of course, you have certain infrastructure to put radios and do access points and all that. Wi-Fi is not for IoT. It's not. It's used. You can use it in very restricted areas. It's fine. I'm not saying it's never, but in terms of large deployment, in some cases, especially outside, it's not like the best. You can use it in a closed and controlled area. You can still use Wi-Fi. Once you have access points there, you can still use Wi-Fi. So that's another way to do that. Now, one thing you also need to understand is that if you're using cellular versus Wi-Fi, you can almost obviously send a lot more data over Wi-Fi versus cellular because you're dealing with restricted data packets. And then we can talk about LoRa, which I've been shouting about for a long time, where it's long range, right, which is extremely good for external deployment, long range deployment, on the field deployment, and don't have to really worry about cellular, because you can use a gateway to consolidate that and move that. That's another way to do it, right? But in places where you kind of need near real time or real time, you need a way to be able to do that. Your other option is probably to use satellite for IoT. Yeah, there are options like that, and you'll be interested to know that in Blues have got a note card like that. And don't worry, we'll get to Blues. I just want to lay the foundation on what the connectivity means, when you're working with IoT. So you can use Bluetooth, which is a short range, maybe device to your phone or something. You can always use Wi-Fi. We talked about it. You can use cellular, right? And then you can use LoRa. All these things are modes of communication. However, the challenge is the modules and the sensors and the pricing and how they're able to do that. Now, when you're using regular SIM 800, which is the common way of connecting to cellular, you're sending 80 commands, and sometimes they can be a bit not too friendly for someone who is not really versed. So for hobbyists, someone who is already a programmer, I do some JSON stuff. I just want to be able to do that easily. All right. So that brings me to today's episode, to what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to specifically look at Blues Wireless, right? So Blues Wireless, they have a series of what we call note cards, which are modules for communication, all right? So they have different types of note cards that do Wi-Fi, that do cellular, that some are combination, and they actually now have a note card that does satellite communication, right? So you can pair, I believe you can pair the star nodes to, I think, the cellular and the Wi-Fi, so that if one of your main connections go down, it can revert to satellite. All right. So let's go and take a look at what Blues is all about. And I can share this with you. We can go to let's go to the workbench. And hey, feel free to drop your questions. As you know, every time on the show is an opportunity for learning. So if you go to dev.blues.io, right, and let's go to get started. Well, you can go to Blues. We can go to Blues on their site. And if you go to get started, so I think we should do it this way. Let's go to the shop so you can see what they have. All right. So this is a set of Blue development kit, right? they have the Blue Starter Kit for LoRa. If you want to do LoRa connectivity, so they give you 3 sets. This is the Blue Starter Kit for cellular, Wi-Fi, and I'll go deep into it, but they have different sorts of. Now, so Blue Wireless has a concept of what they call note cards, right? And these note cards are your connectivity modules. So if you look at it from left to right, they have the note card cellular, which is like their legacy one. Initially, when I saw this, I was always fighting and jumping about the cost. I was like, actually, it's expensive. But then if after really assessing and looking at it, I'm like, wait, it's giving me a lot of things out of the box. Security, data subscription, purely JSON and SDKs that allow me to do it. There is also power management. I don't have to worry about the power management. That's taken care of, that's taking care for me. So they have the note card cellular, which is the legacy one. So I believe this one also has the GPS module as well. And then they have the note card cellular, which is I think the newest version. This also has cellular. And then they have this one, which is note card cell plus Wi-Fi. So this one combines both cellular connectivity and be able to do Wi-Fi. And then they have the note card for LoRa, right? Which is a single one. So this only does LoRa. And then this one is a note card Wi-Fi, and this only does Wi-Fi, all right? Now, these note cards are the connectivity modules, right? They require a host platform to use them. If you look at it closely, they use the M2 connectors, like the one you do like your SSDs or NVM, storage devices. So these are the various carriers. So they have the Note Carrier F, which is the feather. For those of us who are in IoT, the feather board kind of either fruit feather kind of board. So there's a host that allows you to use it on the feather classification of microcontrollers. And then this is the Note Carrier A for Arduino. So this is for Arduino compatible boards. There's a Note Carrier Pi Hat, which is for the Raspberry Pi compatible ones. And then there is they have the B, which is like a smaller one, and then they have Note card for R. Wait, I think the R is Arduino. Sorry, the R is rather for Arduino, right? So they have all these host cards, and they have smaller ones that you can use to, especially depending on the application you are building. So your Note card, if I want to do cellular or Wi-Fi or LoRa, I get a Note card and I put it on one of these carriers, and then the carriers support different platforms. So from Feather, from Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and then common boards, right? I don't think I've seen one for Seed Studio. Seed Studio, do you have a Note card carrier? I'm not sure, but I can reach out to that. I'll find out from the team. All right. So now, if you go to, let's go to dev.blues, and basically we're going to see what it takes. We're going to do an unboxing of one of it. So there are 3 starter kits. I think I showed you. You can have the cellular and Wi-Fi starter kit that comes with a cellular and Wi-Fi note card. It has a SWAN. So SWAN is a Blues version of a microcontroller. So like if you say Arduino Nano or Raspberry, that's a Blues version. And then they have the Note Carrier, right? And then if you want to do, if it's a LoRa kit, they have three of each set. So 3 of the LoRa note card, 3 of the host, antennas, batteries, and then they have a Blues LoRa gateway where all these things can connect to it. And then there's a Star Node. So the Star Node is this is a satellite connectivity. And I'm interested to trying this because in some of the places you want to put sensors, and I'll give you an example, like in this era where there's a lot of, we're fighting Galamsey and complaining about our water bodies. If we want to put a real-time sensor at these places that, collects data and sends to whichever agency it is, you would want to combine maybe the cell and then maybe the Star Node, so that it can use both the cellular, and then if there's any loss in connectivity, you can use a satellite, to send the data. So that's remote sensing of whatever that is. So that would be the use cases. And they have one for the Arduino PLCs and Opta, right? So like I was explaining, so they have the Note card, which is the actual communication module, the Swan, which is the microcontroller, and then the Star Note, which is for the satellite. I'm actually going to get one. Now, however, okay, if you're not like, hey, I can't afford, I'm seeing some prices here, I'm seeing some 40 something, $10, I can't do that. They provide a note card simulator for you, right? Where you can easily, work with this simulated version of it. So someone will say, why am I even excited or, about this whole note card thing? So first off, right, the note card gives you a secured connection. All right, let's talk about it, for a while. So what a note card does is that if conventionally, if I wanted to, let's say, send data from a sensor remotely to wherever I want to send it, and I'm using SIM 800 like I showed you from the bench. If I'm using this one, if I'm using the SIM 800, okay, now what will happen is that I would have to use AT commands to determine, to send the data. And there's a restriction of, I think, 200 and maybe 220 or 250 bytes. That's all I can send. And I have to send this through the cellular, and I talk about all the challenges, and then to a specific, let's say, endpoint. And this could be Azure, IoT Hub, any other. And we'll be talking about that as well, right? Connecting your data from Blues Note Hub to your own cloud environment. So I would have to go through that process, and that can sometimes be very tedious. But leveraging on what note card, the Blues Note card provides you, you get an end-to-end is bidirectional, which means that you can send or communicate from cloud to device, and you can do device to cloud. Then you can choose any radio access technology you want, or we call it RAT. So I was saying you can choose LoRa, Wi-Fi, cellular, and now satellite communication has been included. It's global satellite, global cellular with GPS, right? The cool thing about the cellular thing is that some of them allow you to do dual SIM. So you can do the on-board SIM or eSIM or soft SIM, and then you can add a physical SIM if you want to. The cool thing about it is for the Note card cellular, right? Automatically, when you buy it, it comes with 500 megabytes of data, right? Of cell data. And then you have 10 years of service. There are no hidden fees, there are no hidden charges. Remember when I said if you're using a SIM 800, you could actually buy your own SIM card. Let's take an example, 80 cell telecell MTN, right? When you buy the SIM card, you need to make sure you're buying data all the time, right? For the services that are able to consolidate and help you harmonize and use one SIM for different networks, trust me, we've done it when we're deploying and working on our crafted climate sensors. We worked with Onmondo, we worked with other, and then for a startup, sometimes it can be a steep cost. So this is really interesting, and this is really budget friendly. The good thing is that if you expel the 500 megabytes, hey, you can always buy more data plans, and it's transparent. There are no service fees, platform fees. No, it's just strict buy your data, your cell data, send your data, you go off your way, right? Now, and it's a JSON based API, so which means that you send commands, and we'll see this as well today. You're going to send your request and data, plain JSON. And trust me, if you're doing there's SDK for Python, Go, Arduino, Zephyr, C++, C#, right? So they have SDKs for you if you want to specifically use SDKs or firmwares, or build a firmware you are more comfortable with. So the Note card themselves, secured cloud, proxy for your Note card, so it's secured. The device has got onboard security certificate, auto, encryption and all that. So you see that if you look at the cost compared to the value you are getting, right, it makes up for the cost. And we have resolved that, moving forward, we'll be working with that and, almost all the other things we build, unless, of course, something else comes about. For now, that's it. And the good thing is that, so this is the architecture. I'll show you that. So your data from your firmware, your hardware, whatever that is, through the Note card to what we call the Note Hub, which is Blues Wireless Cloud, right? That's where the data goes. And then you can create what we call routes to say that, hey, I now want to get the data from this place to my own clouds, whether it's AWS, GCP, Azure, IoT, however that is, you can do that. So remember, this is a part series. We are not going to finish all that today. Today I'm walking you through the introduction. We'll do the unboxing. We'll test it out directly from the browser. And then we'll play with it. We'll see, and then subsequently we'll see how to connect, sensors to it. We'll see how to, send it to the cloud, and we'll see how to create the route and then send it to our own internal clouds. And then one thing also is that for the note card, you can do over the air MCU updates, firmware updates. You can do your secure communications and fleet management. All right. So with that said, let's go back to our here. So this is now the cool thing is that you also do not need to have like if you don't have Arduino and other setup, that's fine, because they have their inbuilt space, where it connects to, using serial connection in your browser. It doesn't work on Firefox, but it works on Chromium. So Chrome, I believe Chrome and Edge after, yeah, so they work there. So if you see here on the top right, at this point, so I have a in-browser terminal right here that I can connect the note card to, via USB, and then I can start testing it out. I can start testing how, how that works out. So you don't need to worry about that at all. So here, as you can see, the simulators here, USB, you can connect to it and start, you can simulate it, and just start using it. So this is what I was talking about. So this is how the data moves. Okay, so from your MCU, in this case, you're using Swan, but it could be Arduino, it could be Raspberry Pi or whatever, which is connected to one of the note cards, whether it's cellular, Wi-Fi, and LoRa, okay? Then securely sends it to the Blues Note Hub, right? And all this is JSON. And at this point, you can create your own route and say that, hey, now I want to send the data to AWS, I want to send to GCP and all that. Like I said, even though it's JSON, I know some people ask, but how can I do JSON in C++? Yeah, you can do that, right? So they have abstractions and stuff for you that you can leverage on. Let's see. Let's do this. Awesome. So let's go ahead. First of all, let me close this for now. So pretty much, you can see there are a lot of quick starts from it. So if you go to dev.blues.io, there are a lot of quick starts here, but we're going to do let's do the note card quick start, right? So I'm going to go to the note card quick start, and there you go. I think it's the same thing that I did here. Anyway, yeah. Yep. So we can close this. Now, to be able to send your data to the cloud, all right, to the Note Hub, you need to create an account. So let's go there. I believe I have it open here. That is a notehub.io. And please feel free to drop your question if something is not clear. Okay, so I have gone ahead. So I've created a project, so you can connect to a project. But to create a project on the Note Hub is quite simple. So I can go ahead and click here. I'll say, hey, yeah, we are live. Thanks for joining. So I'll call this, we'll call this demo 1, right? Now, take a look at this. The most important thing is it creates what we call a product UID, right? And that is what you would use to connect your note card to a project in the Note Hub, so that in this project, you can define your route, you can define your devices, your fleet, and all that. So now if you come to if I go to my dashboard, right? Let's go here. If I go to my Note Hub, you can see I have two projects, right? The IoT Tuesday series and then the demo one. And you see that they all have unique product UIDs. We'll need that to set up our note cards, okay? So with this understanding, right, of how the connectivity, like I said, it's bidirectional, so the same things apply. So to get started, we need to have a note card and a note card carrier. Let me do this. So we need to have a note card and a note card carrier, micro USB to a data cable. Do I? Interesting. I believe I have it. I should have one of those cables somewhere. Else fire on the mounting. Else big fire on the mounting. Okay, and then you need a computer with available USB ports, a browser that supports, the web API serial, so Chrome, Edge, Opera. And then if you're using a cellular note card, make sure you're in a local location with a stable cellular coverage. I hope I have a good coverage in my place. Hey, Salam Dako, welcome to the show. Hope you are picking something from here. And then internet connection. All right. So welcome. Yeah, we are talking. So if you're just joining us, this is IoT Tuesday with yours truly, Samuel Adjoin. Today we're talking about cellular. We're talking about IoT connectivity using the Blues Notecard. We know how cellular connectivity or collectivity is quite important when it comes to IoT projects, right? So this would be how your note card. This is your note card. And then your carrier, and then there is the LTE connection, your antenna, right, for both GPS and LTE. And you need to connect it, right? You connect the note card into the carrier, close it up, and then connect your antennas, to the right. Make sure that you have the LTE and the GPS connected to the right spot. And then once you have that connected, we can go ahead and power it up and connect it to our, browser. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go here. So let's put this aside for now, and then let's go ahead and do the quick unboxing. So I'll go here. So you realize that in here I have the note carrier F. I have the note card. This is cellular. This one is cellular and Wi-Fi. And then and I have one here. So let's take this out. And then so there you go. So this is the note card. All right. So this is the note card, and this is the carrier, right? This is the F carrier. Sorry, let me turn this way so you can. Yeah, that makes sense here. So you have the note card. This is the Wi-Fi and cellular, right? Is there anything else in the box? Woo! Fire on the mounting. Okay. So this is a USB. Okay. So, and then there are other note cards. I have other note cards here. Which one is this? Yeah, this is I believe this is a GSM module. Let's put this here. So this is a GSM module also from Blues. This is let's see, which module is this one? So I have a few modules here. Yeah, so here I have this is the Wi-Fi. This is just pure Wi-Fi. This one is just the Wi-Fi one here. And this is the legacy one. All right, this is the this is the note card. So this is the legacy. This is the Wi-Fi. There is another one, I believe. Yeah, so this is another carrier. All right, this is another carrier. Actually, let me put this here. So this is another. So this is a Swarm. This is their microcontroller. This is a side. So we've already seen this. So I can move this to the other side. And then over here, I'm just bringing this out here. So we have the, as you can see, we have the antenna. So this side is the LTE, this side is the GPS side. So we have that, we have it ready. So let's put this here. So I think the only one I don't have at the moment is the, how do you call it? I don't have a LoRa one. But hold on, I could be wrong. I think I have, this is another antenna. We just have extra antennas. Just a sec. Okay, so basically we are ready to get started. So let's just put these here for now. So we have our antenna. We have the, so we'll be using the note card to the LTE and the Wi-Fi. This is only Wi-Fi. This is the version 1 of LTE cell. So we will not be using that for now. So let's just move this here. So this is what we'll be making use of. So we'll need to unscrew this. There's a small screw here. Place this inside the carrier. Connect the, connect the antennas, and then we can, we can power it. So without much ado, let's get rocking. So let me just go put them together and we can come back to this. There we go. So I've been trying to go grab a USB, I believe. So I was just going to grab a USB cable. So USB-C, and it should have, so I think data and power. I doubt if this is going to give me data and power, but what do we do? What do we do? I believe I have a few. I have some cables here that would allow us to do that. Where is USB, micro USB when you need it? Okay, so let's go to the bench and let's just put it together real quick. So I'm going to bring my screwdriver from here, and interestingly, I believe. Anyway. Okay. Well, I have put together a couple of cables, so they should work fine. So let me go ahead and just. So right now I'm just going to. This is a star. Let's see. All right. So all I'm doing is just trying to get. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, so this goes here. Okay, there we go. I think we need to make sure it is properly aligned. And then we put there we go. So this should have it align in there right here. Okay, so all right, and then now GPS. Okay, there you go. So GPS. So this is the GPS one. Yeah, just putting the GPS one here. Just a sec, let me use this. I think I have one of these tweezers here. Okay. Okay, so let's just get this here. I think just a sec. I need to use one of those anti-static ones so that yeah, some of these things are really sharp. I don't want to, yeah, there we go. I think this one is, so GPS here. Okay. I mean, I'm not afraid to use my hands, but yes. Yeah, and if you're just joining us, we are setting up our note card for test. There we go. So the GPS is here now, and if you've been working with GPS related stuff, you know that if you are sometimes inside the room, sometimes the connections you don't get connected to the satellite kind of like immediately, and then we'll connect the LT. So what I have done here, as you can see, is the GPS side is what I've connected to GPS, and I'm going to connect the LT side here, this side to the LT side of the board. So let's go, where's that? Let's see. So that's the Wi-Fi. That is the main. That is the, let's see. Now the good thing about this also is that you can actually connect it to, it has inbuilt, you can connect it to a solar power. So you can see here, you have your solar 3.5 to 7, you have your battery connections, you have 2.5. So like I said, the board comes with a lot of stuff. And you can see here that you can put a secondary SIM. That's what I was telling you, that you could have it to run a dual SIM interface. So you could have it run a dual SIM interface, where aside the note card here, you have a secondary SIM card, showing there. Yeah, so primarily yeah, so let's get let's get this on here. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get the, okay, there we go. So I've connected the LTE to the main, and there's Wi-Fi, but because we are not using Wi-Fi, I believe there is another connector for, if you want to do the Wi-Fi thing, we can connect that, but primarily that's it. Now, so realize that they also have, aside solar, there's a battery. So they have this high capacity batteries here. I believe this is 2.5 to 3.8 volts. That is chargeable, right? So I could also use this to power And then I'll use they have connectors that I can use. So they have these connectors that I can use to connect to it, right? And then connect it to with power. And I know that this is power directly, right? But right now our setup is done. We can kick this aside, and we need to now connect it to our computer and see if we have, we can get a serial. So I'm going to try a few cables. I hope they carry both data and power, else fire on the mounting. All right. Yeah, if you have any questions, drop it up. So right now, I'm going to take this, power this. So let's do it here. Okay. Well, some stuff connected. Moment of truth. So this USB, I'm going to connect it. Let's go to the workbench. Let's go to the screen. So if I connect it and everything is successful, we should get it should show up here, right? We should see it connected. So let's go ahead and moment of truth. Oh, I see light. 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 Is that good? Oh, that's bad. Okay, so I'm going to try this, connect. And I'll say, interesting. You know what? Let's remove this. Let's try the other cable. I don't want to mess it up though. It's interesting how you would think that I should have a lot of okay. Okay, you know what? I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try that again. Let's see if so. Moment of truth. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It worked. That's what I want to see. So look here. It says COM10 selected, connected. We are in business. We are in business. We are in business. So you can see on the right here. Actually, let's go here. I need to shift myself. Okay, so if you look here, right? So at the moment, we have connection. So right here, oh, sorry. So here, there we go. So USB, as you can see, welcome to the Notecard in browser terminal. And this is just in the terminal, right? I'm not, like I said, you can use Arduino, Zephyr, Python. You can use any of that, but we're starting just to see how that works. So it says, so this is giving us, it's connected to the serial. It's connected to, so if you want to set the Wi-Fi, if you want to get there. So let's go ahead and run some few commands to see what this is. So one of the commands that you want to run, I'll go ahead and run. And remember, everything you run to it is JSON, right? So I want to see the version of the card I'm using. So I'm going to run this command right here. So all I did, let me explain what I did here, was that I ran this command here. The command I ran is a request. And like I said, everything within the node card is JSON, right? So I run the request and I'm saying I want the card.version. and it's giving me, all this information, you know, right here. It says that, oh, let's do that again. Let's give you some info. So here we know that it's node card. This is the version. This is the device ID. This is the name. It's a node card. The SKU is a node WBGLW. Interesting. So you see, so it has, this is what you need. This is what you need to look at, right? So Wi-Fi. So this board is Wi-Fi compatible, cellular, and has GPS, right? So almost immediately, automatically, if I'm using this card in my project, I have access to these things. I can get GPS location. I can get all that. I don't need to add another GPS module on top of my thing. And like I said, all these things have memory, power management right on board. All right. So good thing is that once you've done this, all right, you can literally check by running all this, you know, that information. So remember that we're doing basics, right? Today's episode, we're just setting up doing basics. Next episode, we'll see how to collect correct sensor data, right? We have some few minutes to go, but let's try this. So how do we now connect this project, right? This IoT Tuesday project, how do we connect it to this note card for it to know that, hey, this is a project in the cloud you're working with. So anytime you're sending data, you need to send it to, you know, send it to this. And remember, I talked about I mentioning about the ID, the product UID, right? That is what you need. So we're going to copy this and let's come here, and I'm going to bring in the magic where, like, if you can see this here, right? If you want, there are a couple of ways or modes you can set what we ran earlier was request.card version, but you can set the mode you want your node card to work, right? You can set it to continuous, which means it's sending data continuously, but be mindful of the power draw. Now, if you send it to the manual where you are doing the sync from time to time, what happens is that your sensors can collect the data, queue it on the node card, and then when the sync happens, it now sends that data to the cloud. Now, because we're just using the browser to do it, ideally, if you're building a firmware, you would want to handle that on the firmware, right? Versus just doing this. So let's go ahead and leave it to the version. So as you can see, we've seen this. So to set up the node, we've already created a project. You saw that from the beginning. So we've added that. We want to set it up. So this is the command that you want to use, okay? Right here. So you want to do another request, and the request is setting a hub, and then the product, remember, we copied this from our project, right? So you paste that there. So what you want to do is you can go ahead. Now, if you're in the browser and you click on try it, it's going to put it there for you. Okay, it's going to put it there. So we come here and I'll copy this. We're using the IoT Tuesday series. I'll come here. And then I would replace the whole of this with that. And I will send this. Now, when you send this, okay, immediately, I need to, sorry guys, I need to move myself from here. Forgive me, I have not created that interaction, so we can see this here. So once you set this, right, you might not immediately see any effect on the node card, or you might not see any effect on the IoT Tuesday project here, right? However, to do that, we would have to sync it. And that's what I'm saying, that if you set here if you look at, and hey, you don't need to memorize. There's a whole API documentation to show you all the commands and stuff you need to use. But you see, if you set it to continuous from the beginning here, if you set, let's go back here. If you set the mode to continuous, then once it's just sending, right? But again, you need to be efficient. But if you leave it to the way it is, now that we've set it, for this to sync, I'll have to do request hop.sync. So let's try that and send this out. Now, anything or any information or anything that has been set for has been enqueued on the note card should now be sent to here. So if you refresh this now, we can just since we're going to use this, let's keep an eye on this one for now. Okay, so now no data has been sent, but we have said that, hey, we want to be able to use this project, and we're ready to sync data. Now if you look at that, it tells us that it's waiting for service to sync 39 seconds. It's just going to look for it. Now let's go back and check, just refresh this. So this is an interval. Something would come up, but I will send something and then we can call the sync. So now how do we, let's say, send some information? So what's going to happen is that once the sync happens, so here sync needed, node casting, waiting for service to sync. Okay, so it looks like we are having some service challenge. Let's see. So you can see from, look at here, you can see from the top here that sync needed, right? Waiting for wireless service, 70 seconds. But we are not using the wireless service. We're using the, how do you call it? The cellular. Okay, so let's go ahead. So I think we're just waiting for it to connect. Cell service here is. But if I want to set the wireless, if I want to set it, I can go back and use, remember the connections, the setup here. So I can go up in here. So you see, I can decide to use, I want to set the Wi-Fi here. I go ahead and, go ahead and say card Wi-Fi SSI provided and provide the password, right? I don't want to do this on here, but that's why I want to use the cellular. So whilst we wait for that to pick up, let's go ahead. Yep. Let's see. I want us to simulate sending something. Okay, so it says the modem is now on. Sync needed. So I'm going to run another sync. Let's run another sync. Okay, no tab connected. Okay, so it's found a cellular connection. It should sync. So now, if we come here and refresh, hopefully, we should see something coming up. Hold on, let's see. Oh, sorry. We did a sync, right? So sync needed. Note card connected, so we are connected. Modem is now on. Okay, so we've done a sync. All right, cool. So now let's try to send some sample data. Okay, so in this case, remember we mentioned that everything on a note card is JSON. So here there's a sample data here. Now this is just for testing purposes. So to send data, you still are passing a request, and I say, hey, add this to the note card. And this is the body of what I want to add. And this, even though we are sending this as a test, ideally, this will be coming from your firmware. So whether you're running an Arduino, a Raspberry Pi, an ES, whatever you're running, this should be connected to, let's say, some sensors, reading the sensor data, and then generating it. But just to show how this works, we're going to go ahead and just try to send this and see how it's sent. Now, run this. So we're going to send that, and once we send, there we go, and we will do, let's do a sync. So one file is sent, and then we'll do a sync. Now, this seems very trivial, right? But what we've just accomplished is, within a matter of just some few seconds, connected a note card, tested it out, sent data to the cloud, which should pretty much show up in some few moments. So far, hopefully, I hope I connected to, did I connect to the correct? Let's see. Yeah, connected to it. I think it's just my room. It's struggling to just establish connection. But what we've been able to do is literally be able to have sent data from the note card, simulated that data, and is going to send it to the cloud. Right now, we're just waiting for it to sync. Maybe what I can do is, whilst we are waiting for that, let's try this again. So you understand the concept of how it works. So note card, like I said, works like a queue. So you keep sending, you drop your notes. That's why they call it a note card. So your data is seen as what we call a note. You drop the note in the note card, and then it syncs that from. So depending whether you're using continuous or you want to use your manual sync, then it sends that through the note hub to the note cloud. So let's see. So now we should actually have it. By now we should have received the data. I hope something is gone. Else what I'll do is that I'll go off. I think we're having connectivity issues with my network. Hold on, let me see this. I hope I connected the. Okay, there we go. All right, just a sec. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to go to. Let me shift to the workbench. Once you see that, and I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the Wi-Fi. All right, so let's go here. I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to set this because I want us to see the data go to the cloud. I'm going to do that, and then I'm being careful not to speak out my my Wi-Fi credentials. Oh man! Before somebody comes to see it. Okay. So we've done that. It's connected. Now let's go ahead and let me check something here. Before I come back, I'll make sure that it's not exposing anything before I come back. So let's look at our devices. Let's see if we have any alerts here. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do this again. And let's sync. Okay. Great. And I'm going to send. Sorry, I'm blocking the screen because I'm trying to get my. I want to get my how do you call it? I want to get my password off. Okay, so yeah. Let's send a few ones. Let's send another one. Let's send a few ones again. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So interesting. Yeah. So whilst we wait for that sync to happen, so I think there has been a. Okay. Yes, you are late. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it again. Okay. So let's see. So there was. Okay. So I think we've been able to send it. I'm just going to refresh this, and yeah. There we go. So if we go to the, you can see that now, as you can see, we have we've been able to, as you can see, data has been sent. But I noticed, so it's using both cellular and Wi-Fi, right? So the node card we've connected is using both cellular and Wi-Fi. We've not put the location. I'm sure it's going to take a while for for it to, or I have to be outside for it to lock onto a satellite and to show that. So I can see the last firmware usage. I can see my my SKU here, my data usage recent. So let's go ahead and try this again. Okay. I'm going to, it says 24 hours. No, so I'm going to go ahead and send this. Let's try the data. Yeah, I'm going to try this data again. Send this. And then I will do a sync. Okay, so Wi-Fi is on, chipset is okay, so there you go. Okay, connected, it's joined, send the things. So I kind of noticed that in using the Wi-Fi, anytime Wi-Fi active for 18 seconds, so it's like anytime you try, it's like anytime you send it, it sends the data and then it deactivates the Wi-Fi. And I believe it's just a way to conserve the energy, just to make sure that you're not expelling it. So whilst it's doing that, let's come back here and see what we have. So I'm going to go to my Blues Note and see. Okay, so there you go, one event, 12. So there are a couple of events here. So let's open it up. Yep, so as you can see, check this out, temperature. It's sending the temperature and all that data, as you can see. So all that information is there. So if I look at the JSON, yep, there we go. And yeah, so believe it or not, right, we're being able to just connect this device, use JSON to send data. This is the cloud, guys. This is the cloud. So see how easy it was to use, whether you wanted to use cellular or you wanted to use Wi-Fi. That was like seamless. I didn't have to write any lines of code to do that, but that shows how seamless and easy and simple this is. So as you can see, open explicit the data that came in. So this is the event, all the data that came in, all the other information and stuff that we did, that came in here. So this brings us to the end of today's episode, where we've seen how we unboxed it, we saw how to set it up, and pretty much we've been able to send data, as you can see. Next week, on the next session, what we're going to do is we're going to see how to use it in, like in a firmware. So instead of us using just the browser to do it, we'll connect it to, we can use a SWAM, use Arduino code, connect a sensor to it, and then have that sensor collect the sensor data, and then we'll send that sensor data. And then the subsequent episode, we'll see how to now create what we call a route to move data from our Node Hub to Azure IoT Hub, and then we can send it to the cloud and do stuff like that. Well, if this sounds like something that you want to be doing with us from time to time, I would really entreat and ask that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so that anytime we go live, you would hear that. And hey, tell a friend to tell a friend, to join the show. Bring your IoT questions. We try to answer them. That's what we do on the show. Feel free to also reach me on any of my social media handles. You can see below, the screen. Shoot me a message, and hey, yeah, shoot me a message, and hey, we can talk. Till then, stay safe. U.S. elections, keeping it crossed to see the outcome. Ghana is preparing for it. Remember, it's one Ghana. Put Ghana first, irrespective of political colors. Let's always put Ghana first. If it's Ghana, if Ghana is peaceful and nice, we get to do a lot of this. Let's love one another. Whatever the outcome of the election, let's embrace it. Let's build Ghana. Let's move Ghana to the next level. With that said, I'll see you next week. Be safe out there.